In Admin Lesson 6, we're going to go over documents and templates in TrackerRMS. So if we click on the Tools option, under the Collaboration section, this is where we'll have our Asset Manager, an image library, and our document library, and then the support knowledge base. So here we're going to focus on the document library. So if we look at the document library, this is where you can have different folders, and inside of those folders, you can have your best and final documents that you can have loaded in that can be centralized for anybody to access wherever they are. So these documents can be loaded in. Now, if you want to add a new folder in, if you go into Tools and then Template and Document Settings, this is where under the Document Folders option, you can add any new folders that you want. So here, when we add a folder, you can see the association. We can have it be a document library, or we can have it be a folder within a record on the system. So here, if we wanted to build one out for the document library and call it General, we can do that. And if we go back into Tools and click on the document library, you'll see that now we have another folder available that doesn't have any documents listed. So if we wanted to put a new online form in, you can choose whether you want it to go into a particular folder. You can grab it from your desktop. You can name it. You can put in a description. You can have it be either a document or a form. You can put in a version, a date. You can tag it as active or checked out. And then also you can choose whether you want it to be an internal document or whether you would want it to be visible via the online portal. So all you would have to do is hit upload and save, and it would drop in a document into that corresponding folder. Once a document is in there, you can open it, or you can click on the pencil on the right-hand side, which would allow you to edit any of the information or delete that form off the system. So it's a great place to put your best and final documents that you'll have access to anywhere you have Tracker. Next, we'll take a look at adding images to the asset library. So this is where if you're building any templates, any campaigns, any email signatures, you can load in your images. So in here, to add a new logo, all you'll have to do is hit the upload button, and you can drop files in, or you can click and grab them from your desktop. So for instance, if we had company logos that we were loading in, you can add that logo in, and once something is inside of your image library, it's available for any users to use inside of emails, templates, or even custom forms that are on the system. If you're copy and pasting directly from your email, you'll see that it won't work. It would need to be added into here. Now, the other place that you can do it is inside of the actual message itself. If you're building out a template or a signature line, you can add it directly from there. So next, we'll take a look at templates on the system. And we'll go back into Tools, and we'll take a look at our template and document settings. So this is where you can go in and you can build any templates or documents on the system. So we're going to go back into our Academy example that we have here. And we'll log in and take a look at the system templates that you get with your system. So if we go into Tools, and inside of Tools, we click on Template and Document Settings. So this is where I have a number of things. So one, under General Settings, I can enable Live Edit, which will let you live edit any type of Word document. If you have Word open, it will let you edit it directly in Word. You can also auto-attach an interview confirmation when you're sending out your interview template. So these are both defaulted to yes for you. The template folders is where you can build out specific folders if you want to organize the templates. You will notice that they won't be visible until you actually add them. So I'll show you one common question that comes in. Let's say we wanted to have my templates. So templates aren't going to be hidden. They are visible across the system, so they can be organized into folders, but they are going to be visible for anybody on the system. Document folders is where we just were. This is where you can add any type of document folders out on the system. So this is where you'll build out and organize the folders itself. In standard templates, this is where you'll actually go in and you can build a new template, or you can edit some of the templates that are on the system. So the first one we'll take a look at is going to be one of the candidate templates. And we will look at sending the resumes over to the client actually. So let's say you wanted to edit your sending resumes to the client template. So inside of a template, you'll want to be careful changing these if they're the system ones. The association is what's going to drive them and have all the workflow attached and also enable the tags. But if we wanted to change a template, you can change anything other than the bracketed letters. So if I wanted it to say hi instead, and if I wanted to change any of this information, I can change that and hit save and close. The other thing that you could do is if you wanted to add any type of automatic follow-ups on the back of that, you do have the workflow on the left-hand side, or we could say when this resume is sent, I want it to action out these items. It's already defaulted to send the resume to the client for the job status and also to set the placement records to resume sent. But if you wanted a phone call on the back of it, you could say when I send this template, I want a phone call to be logged in 1 day later for me, which is whoever's sending it, and I want it to be called, follow up from submittal. And this would add in a stage of workflow, so when that resume is sent, it would automatically log a phone call the very next day. So the next thing we'll take a look at is just building a template from scratch. So if I want to build a new template, first you'll name it. So if I wanted this to be, follow up from an initial phone call. The template folder is going to be where it's viewable, but you'll notice that My Templates is the one that we've added. You won't see it in the drop-down. It's not here because there's no templates put inside of it yet. So you won't see the folder, but I can add this to it, and once I add it in there, then it will be visible. The template type is typically going to be email, but if you were setting up a Word or a letter type of document, that's where you would do it. The association is going to be where you're sending it and also what tags you can bring in. So this is the most important one. So here, if we're sending it from the candidate record, I'm going to pick the candidate association. And the system template drop-down, these are all configured for you, so you wouldn't need to worry about these. These are for the system templates that are already configured. So a common mistake is people will go into template text and they'll try to build it out. But before you build it, you want to make sure that you hit save and continue, because the tags won't be available, and you'll see that when you hit save and continue, you also have your other options drop down on the left-hand side. So now I can go into the template text and I can start to build out my template. So as I'm writing it out, I can type it, and when I hit my insert tag here, this is where I can tag any information in. Now, if you don't see the tags visible on the first screen, you would just need to scroll down. If they're too wide for that first page, they would drop down to the next. So this is where we can go in and we can say hi, and I want to grab the candidate's first name. So I can look at all the different tags that I have available from the candidate record, and I can bring in anything I want. So here I'm going to say first name, and I could write up a simple email, and I could say it was a pleasure speaking with you on the phone. I look forward to working with you in the future. This is where you can write out. You can obviously tag any additional information from that candidate record. If you wanted them to confirm any information, you could say, please confirm that I have the correct info. And you could put anything from, phone number. And I could tag in their phone number that's listed on the system. So I could look in here and grab their mobile number. I could say email, and this would be a simple template that I could build that I could send out to confirm their information. At the very end, I can also go in here and I can enter in the standard tags, and this is where I could grab my email signature. Now, the other thing that is another common question is you can't place a tag directly into the email subject, but I can copy and paste it from the body. So if I wanted to say, thank you, and I wanted to use their first name in that email, I could grab that tag, copy it, and I could put it directly up into the subject line. I just can't tag from the body of the email up there. Now, if I wanted to put an auto recipient in here, if I wanted to add any workflow, such as when I send it, I want to update the candidate to a certain status, or if I wanted to set automatic follow-ups on the back end of this, I could. If there was a document that was in your document library that you wanted to auto-attach, such as a PDF about your company or something about you, you could also add in an auto-attachment to this. Now, if I hit Save and Close, it's going to build that template out. When I hit refresh, you'll see that now we have my templates visible, and now that template is built out. So if we wanted to send that template, if I go in and look at Sean Thomas, who's our example here, in his record, since we use the candidate association, I would need to be in the candidate record. If I go out and hit Send a Template, I can grab my templates. I can pick up my follow-up from initial phone call, and I can preview that. Now, another thing here, if this disappears right away, it's most likely your pop-ups that are blocking it. If you look in the upper right-hand side, you'll probably have a red X or some type of icon here letting you know that that pop-up is blocked. If you enable it, it will make it so you can hit preview again and pull it up. So here I have a simple template that was built out. It tags in the phone number, the email address, and the name of the candidate in 2 different places. All I would have to do is hit Send a Template to send that email directly from the system. So that's how we can build templates on the system, as well as work with some of the templates that are already in there. The next piece we'll take a look at is how to set up a custom form. So a custom form on Tracker is going to be similar to a template, except you can build it out into a custom form format. So here I can go in and I can build out a custom form. Now it's going to look similar to a template. So first I'll want to name it. So if I wanted this to be, an offer letter, I could build an offer letter. I could put the title in as an offer letter, and I could say I'm sending this from the candidate record, or I could send it from the placement record, which would be from the job candidate record. So it all depends on where you want to send this. So placement record would be if it was something that had to do with the job. And then the normal width document is where you can say, do I want it to be a custom size or just a normal width? So next, if I hit Save and Continue, you're going to see the same thing happen. My workflow drops in as well as the form designer. So this is where I can build out a document just like I did, but it can be sent via a custom form. And on top of the template tags, you can also put in form fields to make it more of a document. So here I could say hi, and I could use my tags to bring in the same information. So this is a good example of when they're not visible at the top. So if I scroll down, all my tags are still there. They're just displayed below. So I could go in and grab the candidate's first name. And this could be, thank you for accepting your position of, and you could go in here and look at the job name, and you could say at, and I could also bring in the client name, your start date will be, and you could go in here and grab any additional information that you would need. So here, if we had a start date entered in for the job, I could go in and I could grab that, as well as any additional information that we would want to bring into this template. So if I wanted to grab the start date, I could enter that in. But the difference here is you could also add your form fields. So here I can add a signature field if I wanted them to sign this document. Let me go in here. So if I wanted to put in signature, I could drop in that signature field, and I could put it right here. I could also go in and add any additional fields that I want. So if I wanted them to put in a date field, I could also add in, a date. On top of date fields, you can also put in text fields, which is a field that they would be able to enter text, and then checkbox. So this is where you could design a simple type of custom form. This custom form, once it is saved in, you can also have workflow attached, so when it's sent, it can update details. But that's how you can build out a simple custom form that's on the system. That custom form would be one that you would send out from within the candidate record inside of a job. So here, if you had a candidate that you were sending that form out to, you would go into their activities section and you could send a custom form since we placed it inside the job. This is where we could grab our offer letter, and when we hit prepare, it will send you a link for that URL that you can copy and paste. You can also email that out. It will send a custom form link over to that particular candidate. For you to send out. Once that email is sent on the system, you would see that it will go into the custom form section as a custom form sent, and it would show that that is pending. So that custom form from the candidate's end is they would get a simple form that would look just like this. So here we've put a very simple offer letter together. Obviously, you'd probably want to customize it a little bit more. But the candidate would get a document that would look just like this that they could go in. They could enter in the date, hit OK. They could also go into the signature field, and they would be able to enter in their signature. Hit Save. And all they have to do is hit Submit Document. It will pop up a landing page that will confirm them. And from here, they can confirm that submission. It will also grab their IP address, and a copy of the document will be emailed back to that candidate. That document would go back into the system, and you would see it would move from a send into an approved document. So if I look at all, I'd see that that document has been submitted. I can see here that it was sent on the 1st, it was viewed on the 1st, and then here is also the date and the IP address of when it was grabbed. So that's how you can build a simple custom form as well as send it on the system. And that takes us through admin lesson number 6.